Hello to all my friends out there. Hi, you guys. I got stuff all over the kitchen floor. I am cleaning the cupboards. It's a mess. Okay. This video is power outage, grid down, 6 months would be brutal, 20 tips. Not scared, prepared. So just like everything else, you know, saving money, buying food for the stockpile, we would want to prepare a little bit at a time. So what is significant about 6 months? Well, 6 months, it would take about 6 months to get through the winter so we could grow some food. So I am trying to grow some food. Okay, today I was still on the search for cottage cheese. No cottage cheese, so I have some tea. This afternoon, I was eating leftovers, last night's dinner, and I had some tea and coffee creamer. Here it is. I still have enough for another meal. I will freeze it because, you know, two meals in a row is a lot. So I went to a grocery outlet and I saw these stir-fry noodles. Okay, this is almost a pound. So I thought, okay, since I had a big lunch, a little batch, these are rice noodles. Never had any. Let's try them tonight. If I like them, that's good. If I don't like them, I'll just eat them. Okay, I've been eating quite a few noodles. That is okay. Noodles are good. So the noodles are, the oil's supposed to be hot. Okay, now, okay, so we're looking for enemies within or outside, and that could attack our grid. And then we're looking for if we fall prey to catastrophes. Okay, so number one thing is water. So what I'm doing is, like, when I drink 1 gallon of water, I buy one and I refill one. So I'm technically, since it's just one person, I am refilling my water. I'm getting, for every one I drink, sometimes I flip out and I throw them in the trash, and I'm not gonna lie. So, okay, I think these should be pretty good. I don't have too much olive oil, but I can add more. Okay, so, okay, the water. Also, I want to get some large trash cans, those really large ones at Walmart, so that I can fill them with water. If the grid goes down, the first thing you want to do is fill everything with water. Might possibly have to evacuate. Okay, canned food. Okay, the main thing I want to stockpile is cans of food. For one thing, there's water in your food. Okay. I want to use up some food I have. Okay, now, number 2, canned food, water canned food. So I mentioned to you guys that I donated a bunch of stuff, but I want to show you 2 things I didn't donate. I didn't donate wool coats. I buy them cheap when I could find them. I'm always looking for them, and I don't donate them. Or if I could find wool blankets, which out here is not possible. I want to save those. You can always sell them, or, you know, you might have some relatives. Okay, boots. Now, what I mainly want to do is I want to have enough boots for myself to get through the winter. But also, if something happened, you know, it would keep my feet dry, and tennis shoes with laces. So for running, like getting away from danger, I learned this from The Spy on YouTube. I thought, yeah, you make a good point. And now for the gym shoes, I noticed that I actually accidentally bought shoes. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is, okay, so the idea was yesterday I made some beef broth. I had a beef and I put it in the noodles, and so I have the broth left, and there's not too much fat, so I'm going to add it to the noodles. And so all it was, this was crazy expensive. I don't think I left it out here, but I bought a, box of bone broth. Each packet was $1, but this is just one packet, and so I browned my meat on both sides, and guess what? I couldn't easily find any beef broth or even beef bouillon, but in my stockpile, now this is something I would stockpile. This one's vegetable bouillon, this one's beef, so you know you could use that in your cooking or stew, and this one's chicken that I bought and I had in the stockpile. So I would think about that. Okay. So anyway, the thing about the farmers, the thing about the ranchers is they store food in the winter, enough to get through the winter so they could grow food. And then have it in your mind, if you had to evacuate, where you could go. You want to go somewhere where there's running water. So I was looking at pictures of my dad's relatives, and I said, Dad, our relatives look kind of dusty. And he goes, well, there was no running water then. You had to carry your water. I think the way it went was you took a bath on Saturday night before church. I think that's the way it went. Okay, so I know 2 places. I'm not saying I would choose these places. I just know of 2 places. One is Elko, Nevada. That's where the ranchers were from, but just to point out, my mother's mother did freeze to death. And then my dad's side was from Mesquite or Bunkerville, Nevada, and so they have water there. It was a farming community. I was surprised because a lot of farmers in this generation sold their farms. I thought, okay, these are starting to break down nice. And so my beef broth is really, really good because, you know, it was 1 packet of the beef broth that I bought, and these look pretty good. And you know, then I cooked a little piece of beef. You know, I have to tell you guys, I slept a little better, a little bit. But for somebody who sleeps very, very poorly, this is spearmint tea or peppermint tea. It's my new teacup. I think I got this at the yeah, I got this at the thrift store I'm never going back to. That is fine. I got what I could get while the getting was good. Okay, so these are breaking down nice. So basically, instead of using rice, you would use these noodles in your stir fries. So I had some really good noodles that I got. They weren't too expensive. I got them at Ralph's. I'm going to be getting more. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is live as much as possible like there's no money, like there's no utilities. So the way you would prepare for no money is just get into the habit of not spending any, except for a little money on the stockpile. Or like in my case, I needed cottage cheese. Oh, these look good. Okay. So, like, just pretend you don't have any money. For a lot of people, you don't have to pretend. and no utilities. So what I do is I'm in the little room, my kitchen, me and the birds, and that's it. No utilities. Okay, tea or coffee. Okay, if you have tea or coffee, and then I've been drinking coffee creamer, sugar-free coffee creamer. And this, I will be buying a whole bunch of these from Dollar Tree because it's giving you a little dairy, but no sugar. So, and that was pretty much pleasant this afternoon. And keep your coffee really hot. And I told you, that's how we used to revive my mother-in-law so many times. I can't tell you how many times. But don't be splitting hairs at work. So I thought, why don't you do it on yourself? Okay, so tea or coffee, if you're a coffee drinker, ooh, these look good. All right, now, I think I will add a little water because my beef broth is kind of very concentrated. A little bit. So, I should be able to get about 6 servings out of these rice noodles. Okay, now I want to season my rice noodles. If this was rice, like fried rice, it'd be the same. So I was lucky I found this garlic pepper and garlic and pepper. So I have pepper and garlic. I have a salt. Oh, come on. Where did I put the salt? Oh, no. Salt is key. And so I have pepper, salt, and sugar. Oh, here's the salt. Oh, I don't know why I do this to myself. Okay, so salt, pepper, and sugar. This is like if you're making a stir fry with rice. You don't need rice noodles. I just bought them because they were so cheap for a whole pound. And I thought, I'll try them. So salt, pepper, and sugar. You can put vegetables in this. Okay, and now I want to add 1 egg, and so it's 1 egg and 1 kind of like egg drop soup. So this is how I'm going to get more. So I have a little extra dairy. I have a little extra nutrition in my soup. So I have 1 egg and a tablespoon of water. I'm just going to approximate. So you want to mix it good so you can make it like egg drop soup. Ooh. Okay, so now one of the things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be dehydrating and canning the meat in my freezer. So I have a lot of meat in my freezer, and I'm not going to try to eat all that meat down. I am going to leave the fairly new meat that I just bought in there. But all the meat that's been in there a while, I'm either going to dehydrate it, I'm going to cut it in like some kind of strips, and I'm going to dehydrate it, or else I'm going to can it. I might have to get, I've been very resistant to a pressure canner, but I thought you're going to get one, you're going to can your meat so nothing happens. Dehydrate meat or can. Today at Grocery Outlet, when I couldn't find any cottage cheese, I did find bacon for $2.98. That is an incredible deal. Bacon is really easy to preserve. You just make bacon bits. Also, I got 3 of these. This is Pina Colada yogurt, 3 for $1 at Grocery Outlet. Maybe tomorrow. And I have 1 piece of sausage left from that pound of sausage. Okay, so now I will make like egg drop soup to give myself a little nutrition extra. You can do this in a top ramen. Just control your water. So this only takes a minute to cook. And then I want to put some green chive. So just use your artistic license, you know, whatever you have around the house. This is the way I make my top ramens a lot. I like the ones that come in the cups the best, but I do have the other kind. Also, you can use your little flour flavor packets in your top ramens. Okay, I'm gonna just let this cook for a minute. Okay, so dehydrate meat or can. So mainly I'm eating beef, chicken, and pork for now. Okay, and then think about the food in bulk. Rice, pasta, oatmeal, and anything, flour. The thing about buying in bulk though is you got to find a way to store it so rodents won't be attracted. So when I had the mouse, it was a real eye-opener. My son had mice too. He had to call an extermination company because the mouse was in his bedroom. So what I did is I have poison under my sink, but I'm going to be getting glue boards. Okay, so now save all the fat generated. So you cook your meat, some of it, and it's going to render fat. You want to start saving that now. And then if you never need it, trash it. But if you can, get used to eating it so that, you know, you're not going to be prey to, oh, this looks pretty good. All right, take a look at this. Rice noodles. All right, let me taste one, see what it tastes like. I think, you know, I was doing the Scientology meal plan, and it was pasta and rice, and I thought that is so easy to stockpile, like a whole pound of these rice noodles for $1.50. I've been wrecking my shirts. Those are really, really good. I don't think mine's quite done, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zap it. They taste good, though. They're very substantial noodles. I might buy an extra couple of packages for $1.59. So think about bulk and how you can store them, like in trash cans. My grandmother used to store everything in metal trash cans. And okay, so find meals that make a lot with very few ingredients, like that. That is a substantial meal, and it has your leftover broth. It has, you know, your cheap noodles, but not low quality noodles. That's very important. Okay, find meals with very few. Okay, now this is a good point. I started drinking this stuff, and I had stockpiled this before, and I thought I'll be stockpiling a lot more. So here's this was $5.17, but each, it says about 500 servings, 1 teaspoon to 1 cup water. So like you can put a teaspoon, or if you need a cup of milk, you just put a teaspoon in. And so I will be, you know, storing a lot of this. I don't want to be milkless. I don't want to suffer any, certain things are not good, like you need dairy. That's why I'm trying to find cottage cheese. Okay, so coffee creamer, powdered milk, evaporated milk, and canned milk. Of all the possible sources of milk, that's the cheapest. 500 for $5. That's like a penny a cup. You can make the egg drop soup in any kind of soup. In chicken noodle, in vegetable, in top ramen. or homemade noodles. Okay, eat the scraps. There's the scraps. I mean, every little scrap. Just make good food and then the scraps. I heard something on the Carnivore channel. It's if your meat doesn't taste good, it tastes very delicious, you're not hungry. I thought, yeah, that's really true. Today, when I got home from the gym, I was very hungry and my leftover states is good. Okay, save plastic containers, glass jars, and save the lids. So here is an example. I was watching these bodybuilders and they take their meat out of the trays, season them, put them back in the meat, carry them out to the barbecue. I could do something like that. Oh, here's the beef broth. I was planning on cans, but you know, as usual, there wasn't any, but these are very expensive, maybe $1 a packet, but they're kind of really good, so I wouldn't say no. Also, to go with my yogurt, I have Jell-O, and I also took out a pudding for the week. Okay, now think about how cheap things are when you buy them out, expensive at home, like I'm trying pizza. Well, what I discovered, if you just make a big pasta bake, it's cheaper than pizza, and you can freeze it or eat it left over. So today when I was at Grocery Outlet, I bought these two tomato bruschetta. There's ways to cook these, like you can put cheese on them and then you can eat them with some bread. But I got these very, very cheap at Grocery Outlet. That's why I bought them. They were, this was crazy cheap, 97 cents each. And then you have your bottle, which you would save. And you know, in the day, they didn't have all these proper canning things. Okay, so making homemade stuff. Okay, think about this. One time I had this client, and so there was this guy who owned a stripper club, so he ripped her off from a small restaurant because she would make delicious sandwiches with brownies and a soda pop, and it was a $5 lunch, and she was just a really good cook. So how about us trying to find really good sandwiches that we make that are really good, like deli sandwiches? Like, put some of yourself into finding the good sandwiches, like you know, maybe some Reuben sandwiches or some good deli sandwiches. I mean, the delis make them. Find out how you do that and make up some brownies and voila. Okay, now I found this out. I was on the AI today, asking all kinds of questions, posting all kinds of data to see what it was saying. And so after a lot of typing in my opinion, I came to, if something was to happen, the cheapest and best fuel and less toxic fuel is wood. So my idea is just to stock up a little wood, and the AI mentioned Home Depot, but Walmart, and just stock up a little bit and be thinking about, you know, if something happened, and where are you going to keep this wood? And then the other thing the AI mentioned is cast iron skillet. So you could literally, if you have fireplaces, keep your house warm and cook in your cast iron skillet, or you could use briquettes outside. And then I want to store up alcohol. I think the strongest is 90%. And so if you go to Sally's Beauty Supply this time, I'll buy a big one, because sure enough, last time during the pandemic when all the alcohol was gone, my neighbor cut himself really bad, and I gave him my alcohol because I thought, wow, you know, that's dangerous. Masks, gloves, toilet paper, I'll never get over that, flour, over-the-counter medications, and bandages. And then the other thing is seeds and pots to plant the seeds in. So I'm growing stuff in my window. I don't find it particularly pleasant. In fact, I hate it, but I'm going to keep doing it. Okay, so here are my homemade donuts. Okay, well, there they are. Let me tell you, these donuts are delicious. And I wanted to make my donut recipe into buttermilk donut, Salvation Army donut. So let me give you the original recipe if you want to make a lot. And then down here is how I made the buttermilk donuts. And so I mentioned that the tortillas are like making flatbread, and someone said no, but it's really like a donut is like making a fry bread. I said a fry bread. So I'm going to be making some tortillas. I'm going to learn how to do that, you guys. I want to make sure that if I have to eat beans, I have some tortillas or quesadillas. And so if you go to corn, then you're going to gluten-free. So this was 1 cup flour. I mixed all the dry ingredients together. 1 cup flour. Oh, I put 1/3. It's not 1/3, it's 1/4. 1/4 cup sugar. 1/2 tablespoon baking powder, just to make sure. 1 teaspoon salt. So that was all the dry ingredients. I mixed those together really good, and then I sifted it twice just to make sure. Then I made a well in the middle, and I put 1/2 egg. I just used the egg yolk, and then I mixed it with buttermilk because I'm going to be having buttermilk all the time. But if I didn't have any buttermilk, I could just use 1 teaspoon of coffee creamer in some hot water, or more if I thought I needed it. And then I mixed the wet ingredients. And so, of course, when it was 1/4 cup buttermilk and 1 egg yolk, it wasn't enough, so I stirred the dry until it was a soft dough, and then I stirred buttermilk in little by little, and I had a really soft dough. Then I put oil in a bowl, I put the soft dough, and I turn it around so all of the dough was covered in oil. Then I covered it for about 20-30 minutes. Then I turned it out on a cookie sheet with some flour, and I put some flour on top, and I just turned it around a couple times until I had enough flour to create a decent dough. And then this time I just used the lid of a canning jar, and then I just poked a hole with my thumb in the middle, and then I fried it in some oil. That is good. So out here, first of all, they make the donuts really big, and they're not substantial like your homemade with your good buttermilk and your good ingredients. And then I wanted to mention this. I bought this. This was marked down from Dollar Tree to 25 cents. And it's some kind of facial moisturizer, and it's good enough for using on my arms. So always keeping my eye out for markdowns. And let me give you the fry bread. Okay, so now all you need is a cup of flour, a 1/2 tablespoon of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. But if you want, you can add a 1/4 cup powdered milk, or nothing to stop you from adding a little coffee creamer. So I'm going to be using this stuff, and I'm going to buy these, and then mix 1 cup hot water in a well, like I described to you. But if you have whey left over from making some cottage cheese, you can use that. And also I wanted to mention tomorrow I have lemon jello. I'll put a 1/3 can of fruit cocktail in it. I'll set that, and then I'll put yogurt, the pina colada yogurt on one side, my homemade cottage cheese on one side, and then I bought pecans because I haven't found a big bag of walnuts, and that gives you a good low sugar So mix your either 1 cup hot water or 1 cup hot whey and knead and mix it a little, and then put it in, you're creating a very, very soft dough. Put it in a bowl with some oil and flip it around and then fry it in some oil. So believe it or not, I think about 3 gallons, I bought 3 gallons of regular vegetable oil during the COVID, and I bought 3 gallons of corn oil. So I'm out of vegetable oil, so I'll be buying some of that. So I wanted to mention that. But the big takeaway is the wool coats and the cast iron skillet. So you can always use those for barter, and the wood if you have a fireplace. If not, maybe considering a wood burning stove, or maybe some briquettes, because propane's expensive. A little one's was $7. Oh, and then on my noodles, I could add some soy sauce, which I forgot. So this would be the same thing like if you were making a fried rice, and the soy sauce is going to be really good with these rice. I've never seen these. I'm not too much into Asian cuisine. As much as I can when I bake meat, I'm going to try to add like beef bouillon or bone broth to it so that I can generate some meals with my fat, like gravy, like soup, like, you know, this. Okay, you guys, that's my 20 tips. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And God bless you all. See you tomorrow.